First Lady Dr. Jill Biden is here, everybody. Give it up for her. You know, interesting fact, even as First Lady, Dr. Biden continued her teaching career. Yeah, the first time a presidential spouse has ever done so. Ever. Congratulations. Now, you might think it's because she loves teaching so much, but it's actually because she's still paying off her student debt. I'm sorry about that, Jill. Yeah, I guess you should have voted for Bernie.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Welcome to day 468. A special grand jury was seated in Georgia to help investigate whether Trump and others tried to illegally influence the 2020 election in that state. The case centers around Trump asking election officials to find him enough votes to overturn Biden's win in Georgia. Trump lost the state by roughly 12,000 votes out of 5 million cast, and his efforts to reverse the outcome included direct calls to the Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, who oversees the elections. And Trump also called the lead investigator for Raffensperger's office. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis opened the investigation in early 2021, and the grand jury will have the power to subpoena testimony from witnesses and to obtain evidence. The probe is seen as the biggest threat of a possible criminal prosecution that Trump currently faces. Meanwhile, New York City entered a higher risk level for coronavirus transmission as cases continue to rise. The city moved into the medium yellow risk category with nearly 2,500 new cases per day, jumping up from about 600 in March. The move could trigger the return of some public health restrictions. Preliminary research, meanwhile, suggests that two new Omicron subvariants, BA.2.12 and BA.2.12.1, are about 25% more transmissible than the original Omicron variant, BA.2, which is still the dominant strain nationally. Moving on, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas reiterated his request from about a year ago for migrants to not come to the United States-Mexico border. Mayorkas said Homeland Security is planning for the possibility of a record-breaking 18,000 border apprehensions per day if Title 42 is lifted. That's compared to the current number of around 7,000 per day. And the increase is expected to put a, quote, strain on the system, end quote. In April, the CDC said it would end the Trump-era pandemic restriction on May 23rd, which has been used to expel more than 1 million migrants at the southern border. Meanwhile, a federal judge allowed the January 6th committee to obtain the Republican National Committee's marketing email data leading up to the insurrection. District Court Judge Tim Kelly, a Trump appointee, said the committee had demonstrated its need for the RNC's email data about efforts to fundraise off of claims that the 2020 election was stolen. Kelly also issued an injunction allowing the RNC to appeal his ruling by May 5th. The committee, meanwhile, said it wants to talk to 3 more House Republicans linked to the insurrection, asking Representatives Mo Brooks, Andy Biggs, and Ronnie Jackson to appear voluntarily. Moving on, anti-abortion groups and some Republican lawmakers have started meeting about potential federal legislation that would outlaw abortion after just 6 weeks of pregnancy if the Supreme Court weakens or overturns Roe v. Wade this summer. While a nationwide abortion ban would be extraordinarily difficult to pass given the need for 60 votes in the Senate to overcome a filibuster, anti-abortion advocates have spoken with 10 possible Republican presidential candidates, including Trump, about a national strategy. Most of them reportedly said that they'd be supportive of a national ban and would make the policy a centerpiece of their presidential campaigns. And finally, the primary elections for November's midterms begin this month with voters in 13 states heading to the polls. All 435 seats in the House of Representatives and 34 Senate seats are up for election in November. In the 50-50 divided Senate, 14 seats currently held by Democrats are up for election, while 21 are currently held by Republicans. Control of both chambers is in play this election. And in the polls, NPR says 47% of voters say they're more likely to vote for the Republican in their district in November's midterm elections, compared to 44% who say they're likely to vote for Democrats. 10% say they're unsure which candidate they'd vote for, and the poll has a margin of error of 3.7 percentage points. And ABC News says 55% of Americans are in favor of increased military support in Ukraine, despite 81% also saying that they're concerned the war could expand to other countries or involve the possible use of nuclear weapons by Russia. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Anditas.